Welcome to our mixed level practice with a focus on building and maintaining bone density. In today's practice, we'll move towards ardha chandrasana, half moon pose, as our balance pose. And any balance pose where you're holding the weight on one leg is weight bearing, which is good. In other classes that we've explored together, we've used vrikrasana, tree pose, as our balance. And if you would rather choose that today as we move towards half moon pose, please make it your own. But welcome, and let's get started. We'll lay down on our backs with our yoga strap and begin to explore these asanas, these poses that we hold a little bit longer to create that bone density response in the body. Relax your shoulders. Take a moment and arrive in constructive rest pose with the knees bent. Shoulders broad. Relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders. Take a moment to enjoy an inhale into your body. And an exhale, release. All the way. And one more. Inhale. And exhale. Let's switch the knees a little to the left and right just to warm up the low back as we start to approach our movement practice. So yoga, yes, is about the asanas or the poses, but it's so much more than that. It's about connecting to the breath, beginning to explore the sensations within the mind and the body. Whole being experience. And when you come back into center this time, let's bring the right knee up towards the chest and relax the shoulders down. So be careful here that when you reach, that you're not tipping your chin up to reach with your shoulders. So relax those shoulders down, and tuck the shoulder blades in, neck is neutral, and push down a bit with your left foot as you reach up with your right. And point your toes to the wall behind you. Relax your shoulders again. Bend your right knee ever so slightly. Point and flex a couple times with your toes. And next time your foot is rather level, bend your right knee in towards your chest and find your strap and place it across the bottom of your right foot. Across the ball of the foot if that's available. You can also use the heel if you would rather. And take a loop around your hands, your palm and the top of your hands. This makes it a little bit easier just to hold on. As we walk the right hip away from the belly, bend your right knee, press up into the strap, wiggle your shoulders down. So it's important here that we don't lock the right knee to push up, that we keep that little micro bend. And then if you like, extend your left leg, flex your left foot, lift your left knee, and begin to express energy out through both of your feet, Supta Padangusthasana, A, or 1, as we press up and out. Now stay with it, and there's this little sweet movement we can do with the breath to help us stay present. So when you bend your right knee, keep that, but as you begin to inhale, press your foot a little bit more into the strap, hold the strap steady. At the top of your inhale, pause. And as you begin to exhale, release that pressure, that effort against the strap. So subtle. So again, inhale, press your foot a little bit more up into the strap. Keep that bend to your right knee. And as you exhale, soften away from that edge. Let's do one more just like that. So inhale, press, and pull. Enjoy the hamstrings and the back of your right thigh awaken to this new day. And then release. Let's keep the left heel anchored just like it is. Take your straps into your right hand. Take your left hand on top of your hip bone. And then you need to scooch a little closer to you. And as we anchor the left hip, we'll open the right leg. Take your time. Don't be too concerned about how close you get to the floor. Just find that edge. Slide your hand down the straps your elbow can rest to. Wiggle your shoulders apart. Now, if you like, you can also extend out through your left arm. Look out at your fingertips lower than your shoulder. Your left leg is still extended. Lift your left knee. Take a moment. Now use the straps in your hand to pull the leg up. Keep your left heel anchored. Take both straps now into your left hand. Take your right thumb into your right hip crease. Move that right hip down and tip over towards the left. Tip onto your left side. Extend your right arm. Wiggle your shoulders apart. Draw your inner thighs a bit towards one another. And again, pull back from this edge if it's too much. Pull too much. Just right is what we seek. So for our bodies, this is a bit of a twist. It's a pretty deep hip opener. Heart rotation. So let me rephrase that. It's a nice upper back twist for your thoracic spine and a little bit of a stretch across your low back. And then take your right hand, if you like, over to the left hand to help. Take your straps back into your right hand. And then let's bend the left knee and open the left knee to the side. And then take the right leg back again towards the right. So this is the hip opener, obviously. Move your right heel away from your shoulder. Anchor your left hip down. Bend your right knee a bit. Use your core support. And as we explore our balance pose today, these warm-ups will come in very handy. One more breath. Now pull on the strap, help your right leg up, help your left knee up, and release the strap off your foot. Bring your right foot to the floor and glide it long and just relax for a couple breaths. Let all those muscle fibers that we were pulling against the bones of the body to now just release and recede. And you might notice some energy, some flow through your right side body as you explore that release. Bend your right knee and bring your right foot back to the floor. Bring your left knee up. Hug it in. And again, same thing. Relax your shoulders. Neck is neutral. Plant your right foot and reach up with your left heel. Now keep a little micro bend to your left knee already as you point and flex your foot. This is a nice warm-up for the ankle, but also what's happening from your heel all the way down your back of your leg is a little pull and contract on the fascia that wraps around all the muscle fibers. And then next time when your foot is flexed, bend your knee and find the strap for the bottom of your left foot. If you like those loops, you can just hold on like this if you like, but the loops just kind of spare the fingers from some of that gripping action. Walk your left hip away from your back waistline, but then adjust your shoulders down, bend your knee, bend your elbows, press up into the strap a little bit. And then if you like, you can keep your right foot on the floor, but if it's available, extend your right leg. Rotate your right thigh in a little, lift your right knee, press up into the strap. So again, we can use that dimmer switch breath, where as we inhale, we start to increase the brightness by pressing into the strap evenly across the bottom of the foot. And then we pause at the top. And as we exhale, we reduce the brightness and release the pressure. Let's do that 2 more times. So again, on the inhale, press your foot a little bit more into the strap. Pause. Exhale, soft release. And again, inhale. Press. Keep that bend to your left knee. Keep your left hip nice and down. Your low back is nice and heavy. And then exhale, release. Press up, press out. And take both straps now into your left hand. So Supta Pada Kunstasana A, B, and C is what we're exploring. Or sometimes 1, 2, and 3 it's called. Okay, so you know this. Let's take the right palm on top of the right hip bone with the elbow on the floor. So we can keep that right hip anchored as we open the left leg. Go nice and slow. The elbow can rest on the floor. Move your left thigh a little away from your shoulder. Wiggle your shoulders apart. Anchor through your right heel. And then if you like, just keep your right hand on your right hip or extend your right arm out with your palm up, shoulder down, and you can look out past your right fingertips. This is an interesting place to explore. You could move your left toes a little away from you and open up that hip and bend your left knee. Keep your hip down, but then draw your toes back up a little. Lots of ways to micro move and make it your own. Press your belly down, keep your pelvis on the floor, and then pull up your left leg. Hold on to the strap, pull up. Switch hands, anchor your right heel, and begin to tip over. Take your left leg now towards the right, onto your right side hip. But anchor your left shoulder down. So there's the interesting dynamic. Flex your right foot. And at any time you just want to bend that right knee, that's okay too. Take a moment. As the heart rotates back to center, the left hip tips up. So it is a bit of a twist for the spine. One more breath. Use the strap to pull the leg up. Come back to center to where we started with this. And bend your right knee, bring your right foot to the floor. Wiggle around, create symmetry for your spine. Open your right knee to the right, to the outside edge of your right foot. Bring your right palm on top of your hip bone. And again, open your left leg to the side. Now the right knee's bent instead of having the right leg straight. Bend that left knee a little bit. And take your time. Use the strap to help the leg up. Help your right knee up too. Bring your right foot to the floor. Slip the strap off your left foot. Bring your left foot to the mat, and again, just glide it lazy for a moment as you move your strap to the side. In the warm-up positions that we do supine, laying on the floor, we're primarily focusing on the hips and the pelvis. And for many people, building bone density, first thing that comes to mind is the hips. We want to keep the hips sturdy and strong. But we want the whole body to also receive the spine in its entirety. And we'll get into that later. So bend your left knee and bring your left foot to the floor. Swish your knees a bit to the left and back to center. And then to the right. Keep your shoulders and shoulder blades down. Let's do that one more time on each side. As you inhale, both knees to the left. And you can turn your head to the right if you like that. But keep your shoulders down. Inhale, center, face up, knees up. And exhale, take your knees now to the right and roll your head to the left. Come back to center. Plant your feet, lift your hips, wiggle your shoulders, Reach up with your right heel and flex your foot again, but this time we're going to rotate the right thigh open. And bend the knee and bring the ankle bone across the top of your thigh. Align your left heel with your hip and your shoulders. Eye of the needle pose. So here we have an opportunity to explore a small movement that can really enhance the sensations in the piriformis muscle group, the deep six around the hip. So with your right fingertips, just gently open your right thigh like a half of an inch, quarter of an inch away from you. Sink your right hip a little closer to the floor. Keep this flexion, dorsiflexion for your ankle. So there's no pressure here, it's just a little nudge. Wrap your hands around your pelvis, kind of square that up. And then release. Decide if you're going to stay right here, or you'd also like to take a block beneath your left foot, or bring your right knee up, left knee up right over your hip. Descend your right hip down. So the benefit of doing this, of wrapping your right hand around your thighs, you can rotate it just a little. You can hold on to your left foot and massage it if you want, and relax your shoulders. Take a couple more breaths on this side. Relax all the muscles of your face. If you're wincing, you probably got a little too deep. Bring your left foot to the floor. Reach up with your right heel. And this time, let's do some circles with the toes. One direction and then the other. Bend your right knee. Bring your right foot to the mat. And again, glide it nice and long and relax. Bend your right knee, bring your right foot back to the floor. This time reach up with your left heel, flex your left foot, and rotate your left thigh. Bend your left knee, bring your ankle bone across the top of your right thigh. Flex your left foot. Align your right heel with your right hip and shoulder. And then again, take your left fingertips and nudge your left thigh just ever so slightly away. Wrap your hands around your hips so your pelvis is all squared up and level, shoulders down. Press out through the foot again if you've lost that. And then decide if you're going to stay right here this morning, or you're going to bring a block beneath your foot, or you're going to bring your right knee up, stacking it over your right hip. Open your right knee, descend your left hip down. Press out through the ball of the left foot. Now, at sometimes the right knee wants to wander in. So keep your right knee aligned with your hip or shoulder. If the shoulder alignment seems to make more sense to you, of course, use that. And again, breathe nice, sweet, deep breaths into your body. This is deep work for your piriformis muscle, which has a lot to do with your sciatic nerve and its happiness. When you're ready, bring your right foot to the floor and reach up with your left heel. Point your toes this time. Do a couple circles. Bend your left knee and bring your left foot to the floor. And then again, glide your left leg long. So this pause of release between these deep flexions, I've added it because I was reading an article from the Harvard Medical Journal about bone density and how it enhances it to, once we're pulling on those muscle groups, to then let it relax. That's kind of why I've added it. So let's bend the left knee and bring your left foot back to the floor. Find a block if you have it, or a pillow, and place it between your thighs. We're setting ourselves up for just one bridge. Notice the sensations of your feet. All of your toes touching, the four corners of your feet planted, Let's bend the elbows, point your fingers up like little robot arms, and then rotate your palms, spread your fingers, tuck your shoulder blades in, neck is neutral so there's no lift behind your head with a pillow. Draw your belly in. Already notice the pelvis tipping towards you. Your sacrum is off the floor. And as you push down with your feet, keep that sensation of scooping your hips up. Neck is neutral. Walk your shoulders away from your ears. Draw your tailbone towards your calves. Use your glutes, your bum. The muscles, the glutes are the biggest muscle groups in the body. So activate that to keep your hips lifted. Open up the space now in the hip flexors that we were doing some pretty deep flexion with just a few moments ago. Draw your tailbone towards your calves. Pull your knees a little forward. Make all those little adjustments. Press down through your upper arm bones. Press down through your feet. Open. Expand. And exhale, lower. Hug your knees in. Keep the block there. Rock them to and fro. And as you exhale, bring the knees in. And as you inhale, let them float away. Let's do one more just like that. Now keep your knees stacked right over your hips. Hold on to the block. Arms out to the side, lower than your shoulders. And let's tip both knees over towards the left. Again, a little bit of a twist for your body from a supine position, so there's no compression to the vertebra. And then you can turn your head and look out past your right fingers, or stay face up. Pull your belly in, knees up. Roll across your low back. And then let's take your knees towards the right. Keep them stacked. Keep your left shoulder and shoulder blade down. And exhale back to center, nice and slow. The option here is to have your feet on the floor if you don't want them lifted, if this feels too intense. So let's do one more. Either way, inhale both knees towards the left, keep them stacked. Drop your right shoulder, and you can turn your head to the right if you like. Exhale to center. And let's take both knees towards the right. Drop your left shoulder. Look out past your left fingertips. Come back through center. And keep the block there. Release your hands back down on your hips. Toe touch. Keep your pelvis neutral. Adhere to the mat. Exhale, knees up. Inhale, toe touch. Exhale up. This time flex your feet and inhale, heel touch. Exhale up. Now keep your pelvis stable. Use your core support. Inhale, toe touch. Exhale up. Flex your feet. Inhale, heel touch. Exhale up. Let's finish it off with one toe touch. Inhale, toe touch. Exhale up. Move the block away. Take your feet to the floor. Swish your knees a little to the right and left. Roll to your side and set yourself up for table pose, hands and knees. If you like using a blanket beneath your knees, go ahead. Move your blocks to the side. Table. Spread your fingers. Knees hip distance apart. So we think about the four corners of the feet quite a bit in our asana, in our poses, but also the four corners of the hands are important as you pull into the index finger and thumb and press into all of the knuckles. When you're ready, let's inhale into a cat back. And exhale into cow spine. Pull your chest forward. Again, inhale, cat. Exhale, cow spine. One more. Exhale. Now, from this doorway, extend out your right leg. Look at your toes pointing straight ahead. Lift your right heel. Rotate your right thigh in a little bit. Press through all of your knuckles. Half sunbird. Toe touch. Now swivel your left foot out to the side and come up. So now we're in a bit of a gate pose. It's a little clunky trying to get this all set up, I know. So as we're here, we can explore the half moon pose from a kneeling doorway, just to get us ready for that. So you can be on your fist. You can also use a block here if you like that. Flex your extended leg, draw your belly in. Float your leg a little. Rotate this thigh a bit. So this can tell us the steps that we're going to explore standing. But in this pose, your back foot is your kickstand, and you can press into it a little bit more. So align your heel with your hip, rotate your thigh a little, draw your belly in, and then extend your arm. Pull through your heel. So what happens when we're standing is many people tend to pull their heel back and kind of collapse their ribs. So even look down at your heel. See that it's somewhat aligned with your hip, with your shoulders. Little rotation in. And then toe touch. Come down, back to your table. Inhale, cat back. Exhale, cow spine. Reach out with your left leg. Tuck your toes under. Press through all of your fingers. Lift your back heel. Try not to collapse your ribs. Lift your belly. Rotate that little toe down slightly. The crown of your head pointing forward in half sunbird. Press through all of your knuckles. Press through your back foot. Toe touch. Now swivel. So you're now on your knee and extend out through your leg. Here's your block if you want it. Float your foot up. Rotate your thigh in a little. Draw your belly, your ribs in. Extend up. Press through your back foot. So be careful about this leg that doesn't float too far behind you. And toe touch. Hand to your hip. Bring your knees in. Come back to your table pose. And inhale, cat back. And exhale, cow spine. So again, one more cat back. And exhale, cow spine. Excellent. So from this place, we'll go into a child's pose and pause for a few moments and then transition to our belly down back bends. So if you like, take your knees wider, roll down. You can stack your hands here and rest your head. You can also use a block beneath your forehead for a little bit of a lift. So again, experiment with props. It helps to get us a little bit deeper into the pose with ease. Begin to recreate your table. Extend your arms, roll up, walk your knees in, walk your hands forward, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up, and press back into downward facing dog. Take your feet, look at them, they're as wide as your outer hips. Bend your knees, swoop your tail up, lift your belly, your ribs, press through all of your knuckles, roll your shoulders away from your ears. And let's walk the dog by bending the right knee and dropping the left heel. Take a breath there. And then shift to the other. Bend your left knee and drop your right heel. Push off with your hands. Roll those shoulders away from your ears. Come back to your downward facing dog. Release your heels, bend your knees, and come forward into a bit of a plank. So make sure it's not a hammock pose. Keep your hips up. Wiggle your toes back. And you can stay up in your plank if you like, or bring your knees down into a kneeling version of plank. Point your elbows straight back. And I've been doing a couple grasshopper bows before we come onto the belly. And if you want to join me in that, please do. Otherwise, come on down into your Sphinx pose. So when you're ready, keep your elbows pointing straight back. Press into the index finger and the thumb. Exhale, bow. Inhale, push up. So it's just a little gesture. You're not going all the way to the floor. And again, exhale, bend your elbows. Bring them in. Inhale up. This time we're going to make it down all the way, but nice and slow and controlled. So here we go. Exhale. Chin, chest, knees and toes, and then lengthen into Sphinx. Wiggle the hips a bit. Press your palms down. Bring your elbows slightly in front of your shoulders. Lift up, but lift your belly. Think about draw your tailbone towards your heels. Press through your upper thighs. Relax your shoulders. Stay for a few breaths. Press to the top of your feet, through your upper thighs. Pull your heart a little forward. And exhale, release, stack your hands. Just relax for a moment. We'll make our way into Shalabhasana, locust pose. If you would rather come into Bhujangasana, cobra, or back into Sphinx, please do. There's still a belly back bend. Okay, so if you're moving along into locust, bring your hands back by your hips, palms up. And begin to lift your hands nice and wide. Palms up, lift your shoulders, the back of your skull. So you're not looking forward, you're looking slightly down. Draw your fingers a bit towards your toes. This is the half version. Stay right here if you like, or also float your legs and reach a little bit more. Stay with it if you can. Notice the rocking sensation as you linger. As you breathe, there's a little bit of a rocking, like a rocking horse. It just happens. We're not even going to create it. It's just right there. One more breath. Draw those fingers towards your toes and lower. Stack your hands again and rest. Bend your knees. Swish your feet a little to the left and right. When you're ready, release your feet. Slide your hands beneath your shoulders. Tuck your elbows in. Draw your chin towards your throat. Inhale. Press down with your hands as you curl up through Bhujangasana, cobra, onto your knees, and then rock your hips back into your version of child's pose. Release your low back. Take a few deep breaths. And when you're ready, we'll make our way to standing. And if you'd like to add another downward facing dog as the doorway into that, let's do that. If you want to just come up to stand in another way, please do. But let's extend the arms. Pull with your fingers, round up. Tuck your toes if you're going into downward facing dog. Walk your feet a little wider if you like. Spread your fingers. Bend your knees, swoop your tail up, and again, try not to hang off your armpits. Kind of lift up a little, release your head. So many little fun things to check in with. But keep pushing off with your hands as you lift your hips And when you're ready, either walk your hands towards your feet or your feet towards your hands, or a little bit of both as you come into Uttanasana, forward fold. Bend those knees. Take a moment. Swish your fingers and come up to upward salute. Look up through your hands. Spread your fingers. And exhale home to your heart. Roll your shoulders down your back. So for our balance pose, let's get that set up now. If you have a block, which I encourage you to have for the pose, and some of us also enjoy doing this with from Trikonasana triangle pose, to have their hand on the seat of a chair. So if you have a folding chair that you want to use for that, and you know this, you can go ahead and get it, because we're going to take our time getting there. So feet wide apart. Let's start by lifting up the left foot. So I'm trying to mirror you, even though I can't see you. Rotate the left leg and pull back a little with your right heel. So heel to heel alignment, or a little bit wider even. And we have the block in the left hand. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Extend out with the block. Unlock your knee and start to tip your pelvis and reach. Stack your shoulders. Bring the block to the outside of your heel. So as you set that up, I also want to show you that you can have another block here, if you have it on the outside, and create like a T if you want a little more height. So here we are in our Trikonasana triangle pose. Get really light on this block. Scoop your hip under. Stack your shoulders. So if this feels like the floor is too far away, then just come up a little higher, right beneath the knee. Stack your shoulders. Bring your arm forward and up. Ribs in. Pull back a little bit more onto your right heel and scoop your left hip under. Trikonasana triangle pose. This will be our doorway in to Ardha Chandrasana balancing pose. Hand to the hip. Turn and look at your left foot. Take your block and reach it out past your little toe. So it's like you're in a lunge. And then we'll hop the back foot up, and we're going to balance on the big toe. Float your leg. Flex your right foot. Here we go. We did this from a kneeling position. Now we're doing it from standing only if we want to. And then begin to rotate. Stack your hips. Bring that heel a little forward. Little rotation. Ribs in. And then the arm can come up. Only if you want to. Hand can stay on your hip the whole time. When you're ready, bend your front knee. Let your back toe lightly touch. Push through both feet. Stand up. Come to stand. Move the block over to your right hand and roll your shoulders. Take a moment. So let's move in that way on the other side. So we'll lift up the right foot and pull back with the right heel, just a smidge. So heel to heel alignment, so walk your feet that way, maybe even a little bit wider. Left hand on your hip, right hand holding the block, and start to tip your pelvis. So notice that with your hand on your hip, that is starting to tip. And then reach, unlock your front knee, bring your block down to this version of Trikonasana triangle pose. And you know there's very, very, very many of those that you can explore. Now press into the big toe mound a little, scoop your hip under, stack your shoulders, draw your tailbone towards your left heel, and then bring your arm up and expand. Through the chest, keep a long line of energy from the back of your skull down to your sacrum to your heel. And bring your hand to your hip. Rotate to look at your right foot. Grab your block. Bend the knee. Hop the block and arms reach on the outside of your little toe. And then hop your back foot up and just balance here for a moment. When you're ready, float your foot, flex it, and start to stack your hips a little. So again, just floating your leg, this is weight bearing for your standing leg, and this could be enough today. Bring that foot a little forward if you feel like it's pulling behind you. Rotate your thigh in and open. And smile. When you're ready, bend your front knee, toe touch, come up. So you can linger a little bit longer if you like. When you come up, come back to your wide-legged stance and roll your shoulders down. Take a moment and let that simmer. Let's do a warrior Virabhadrasana 2 with a little peaceful warrior on each side. So we'll move again to the left by rotating the left foot. Pull back with your right heel. Bend your left knee. Get your pelvis level this time. Scoop your belly in. Open that knee. And again, notice how there's a little bit of a twist here for your upper back. So as you open and rotate, reach out with your right fingers. Kind of settle in a little bit here. Take some time, little micro moves. And then float up with your left fingertips and reach. Hollow out your belly. Look out over your left fingertips. Check in with the sensations of your feet. All four corners. Nice deep breath. To transition to our peaceful warrior, or reverse warrior as it's sometimes called, bring your right hand to your right thigh. Open your left palm and reach up towards the sky. Stay with it for a moment. Come back to your warrior 2. From this doorway, lift your back heel and start to windmill your arms. So we'll come up into a high lunge. Look at your back toes pointing straight ahead. On your fingertips, you can also grab your blocks here. Scoop your hip under. Stay up nice and tall. Walk your hands to the inside of your front foot. Start to pivot on your heels and your toes so you come into a wide-legged forward fold. Create symmetry for your spine, nice and long. Take a moment. And we'll move over now to the right side. So we'll switch it up, going over to a high lunge on this side. Lift both of your heels, rotate on the ball of the foot. Take a moment, set it up, high lunge. Look at your back foot straight ahead. Scoop your right hip a little under. You can use your blocks here if you'd rather, or fist or fingertips. Now drop your back heel and point your toes out. Bend your front knee and extend your arm. Same leg that's reaching back, your left leg, reach up with your left arm. Push down with your right hand. Push down with both of your feet to windmill back up. Okay. We did it. So we're setting ourselves up for Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2 on this side. Make any adjustments you need. Level out your hips, your pelvis this way. Bend your front knee right over your heel. And take some time to kind of adjust. We want the spine to be nice and long. Hollow out your belly. And remember, there's a little bit of a twist here for your thoracic spine as we rotate. So let's take the left hand across to the right shoulder and rotate the chest. Look out past your left fingertips. Energetically pull your heels a bit towards one another and float your right arm up and look out past your right fingertips. Sink into the pose but float up through your ribs. There's a little sensation of grounding down but also expanding. Stay with it and explore. As we transition into our peaceful warrior, so take your left hand to your left thigh, open your right palm, go just as far as you want to. Some people will even straighten the right leg, but you can just stay in your warrior stance, lift your belly, and come back to your warrior. Press down through your feet and your hands and relax. Walk your feet or hop them in to mountain pose. Roll your shoulders down your back. Inhale your hands up. And exhale home to your heart. Bow your chin. Bend your knees a little. And again, inhale, rise up, rise and shine. And exhale home to your heart. Let's do that again, but this time we'll stop 3 places. Forehead, chin, and chest. Here we go. Inhale up. Exhale, peace to the mind. Strength and health to the body. Love to the heart. So again, inhale up. Exhale, peace to the mind. Strength and health to your body. Love and compassion to your heart. And then release. Shoulder roll. Side bend, crescent lunge. You can have your hands in so many different positions. And if you've practiced this before and know which one works best for your body, you can go there. It's just fine to have your arms up in a V with your thumbs pointing back so you can tip over to the side in this way. Some people like to take their hands into a mudra, into temple mudra. Bring the arms up, but make sure that your ribs are down, knees are a little bent. Inhale and exhale up and over to the side. Now press through both of your feet. Lift your belly. Try not to collapse your ribs. Press through your feet. Inhale up. And exhale, bring your hands home to your heart for just a moment. So again, inhale up, elbows back, ribs down, reach up and over. And again, you can look down at your shoulders, square them up, bend your knees, draw your belly in, press through both feet. Try to draw your right shoulder a little away from your ear. Send a nice deep breath into your side body. Inhale up and exhale, hands to the heart. Release your hands. Let's do another version of crescent. So let's bring the right hand to the right thigh. Reach up with your left, and it can be in a V or straight up, shoulder down. Begin to slide your hand down the thigh towards the outer knee. Go slow. Bend your knees a little. Bring your front ribs in, but your skull gently back. Press through your feet. Take a nice breath into your left side body. Inhale up. And then exhale your left palm to your outer thigh. Reach up with your right arm. It can be straight up or open. Ribs down, knees a little bent. Start to slide your left hand down your thigh towards your outer knee as you come into crescent. Front ribs in, knees a little bent, skull back. Though that's the bandhas. When we talk in those words. So lifting the pubic bone, Mula Bandha, and then bringing the rib cage down, Uddiyana Bandha, and then the hyoid bone on the back of the skull back, Jalandhara Bandha. So it's easier just to say the bandhas. And then reach, come up, and relax. Shoulder roll up, back, and down. Stand on your mountaintop in Tadasana. Take a nice deep breath. So let's do Uttanasana chair pose as a doorway down to the floor. So grab your block if you have one. Also, some kind of a throw pillow works, just so you can hold something between the thighs. Take a moment and notice your feet. You're not looking down. Sense if we're collapsing out or in. And again, for many people, it's a little inner rotation of the thigh, just to set us just right. Not everybody, just everyone's a little different, so find that place. Float your arms up and sink back into your hips. Now pull your hips back. Sit upright a little in your chair. Draw your belly in. Stay for a moment. When you look down, you should be able to see your toes and half of the top of your feet at least. And then exhale, fold. Find the floor. Knees still bent. Take the block away. Bring one knee at a time to the mat. We'll do one seated twist. So you'll need a rolled blanket or some kind of a bolster or cushion. So come to sit on your blanket. And today I'd love us to explore a little bit of mermaid. It's a twist for the spine, but not quite so much compression for the vertebra. So let's bring the left foot back and the right foot to the inner thigh. Sit up on your blanket. Float your arms. Lift your ribs and reach, a little bit like Trikonasana triangle. As we reach towards the right, bring your right fingertips to the floor or your block. Reach up and over with your left arm. A little bit of side angle. Rotate your heart. Pull your belly in. Take a moment. And rotate your heart, your chest, your torso towards your thigh. Bring your left hand down. Bring your right hand in. Square up your hips. Come on your fingertips or palms. Rotate your heart. Stay upright. A little bit of a rounded chest, almost like pigeon. This is, again, a different version, perhaps, of pigeon pose for your body. Walk your hands back towards you. Push down. Come up. Bring your feet forward. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. This time we'll open the left knee, lean over towards the left, bring the right foot behind us, bring the bottom of the foot to the inner thigh. Use a block here if you like. Square up your knees with the edge of your mat. Lift your hip. Reach. Bring your right arm up and over. And in a little bit of a side angle pose. Now once you get here, draw your shoulder away from your ear. Bring your front ribs in a little, your skull back. Rotate your heart a little up towards the sky. And then begin to rotate your chest towards your thigh. Bring your hand down to the inside of the knee. Walk your other hand in, so look at your knee. It's right in between your hands, slightly in front of you. Pause for a few moments. Rotate your heart. Notice your breath. And when you're ready, walk your hands towards your knees. Bring both of your feet out in front. Roll down onto your back. Have two blocks at the ready, one on each side. Lower down. Now once we get here, let's just hug the knees in for a moment to create some length in that low back and to create symmetry. and inhale away. And exhale back in. One more. Inhale away. And exhale back in. And this time when your knees move away, bring one foot down at a time. Lift your hips into a little mini bridge pose. We did bridge earlier in our practice. Drop your hips down. Walk your feet in so your ankles touch and your knees touch. And open your knees so the bottom of your feet come together like hands in prayer pose. So here's a way to explore how blocks can help us blossom into a pose. So without the blocks, just check in with your low back. It might feel like it's being pulled a little bit forward. And when you take the low blocks behind the knees, perhaps that's just the right amount of support for your low back to release. And if it's not, then here's the next bus stop. Take your blocks up to the mid-level. Support yourself in whatever way works for you. Wiggle your shoulder blades in. Place your hands on your hip bones, out to the side, or you can clasp them behind your skull. Tuck your shoulder blades in. Begin to relax and surrender your body to the pull of gravity. Create a sense of balance in your body with this pose, Baddha Konasana. Surrender. Breathe. And when you're ready from here, if you want to linger longer, please do. But if you're ready, help your knees up. Bring your feet to the floor. Swish a little right and left again. And then roll to one side or the other. Make your way up to sitting. Use your block in whatever way you like to create a bench for sitting cross-legged. Or you can sit up on it almost like a balance beam. One or two blocks stacked into a variation of hero's pose. So shoulders up, back, and down. Reach your fingers out a little behind. Rotate your palms up. Inhale, come up. Create that temple over your head. Bend your elbows. Exhale, thumbs to the forehead. Peace to the mind. Fingertips to the chin. With strength and health to the body. And thumbs float down to rest upon the chest over the heart to invite in love and compassion. And we bow to one another and still honor the light within. Namaste.